Greeting of the day. Dear learner, so far we have discussed about the concept of Fourier transform. Then we have seen how to obtain the Fourier cosine transform and the Fourier sine transform. Also, we studied about the evaluation of integral equation using the Fourier transform. In this video lecture, we shall study the concept of Fourier integral. So let's see what is Fourier integral. If f of x is piecewise continuous in every finite interval of the extended interval and is absolutely integrable, then the Fourier integral of f of x is given by. So it is given by f of x is equal to 1 by pi integral from 0 to infinity, integral from minus infinity to infinity of f of t into cos of lambda into t minus x. Integration with respect to t, integration with respect to parameter. Now as this is a definite integral, so variable of integration is always dummy. So as per the requirement, we can have different notation for the parameter as well as variable of integration as per the requirement of problem. So this integral converges to f of x at the point of continuity, whereas it converges to the mean of the functional value at the right hand side limit plus and the left hand side limit. Here x plus denotes the right hand side limit, whereas x minus denotes the left hand side limit at the point of discontinuity. So depending upon the nature of function, we will have the different forms of the Fourier integral. Let's see how to get that. So see, here we have the form cos of a minus b. Cos of a minus b is nothing but equal to cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. This formula we am going to apply over here. So we get this type of terms. Again, we will separate, we will get two different integral in the inner integral when I will multiply this complete product with f of t. So we will have such type of integration. Now, first possibility is if function is even, then cosine being an even function, so its product with f of t will be even function of t. Also, as sine function is odd, so therefore product of f of t with sine lambda t is odd function. So as per the property of definite integral, if we have integral of the form minus a to a f of x dx, then it takes the value 2 times 0 to a f of x dx if function is even. This is the condition for even function. Whereas this will become 0 if the function is odd. So the integral which will contain the term f of t into cos of lambda t will reduce to 2 times 0 to infinity, whereas the second integral in the previous equation will get reduced to 0. Similarly, if I'll have f of t as an odd function, so its product with the even function will be odd, whereas the product of two odd function is always even. So in that case, the second integral will survive and it will take the form this. Here, in this case, the integral obtained when function is even is called the Fourier cosine integral. This is nothing but a Fourier cosine integral of f of x. Whereas, if we have a function or the integral obtained when the function is odd is called as a Fourier sine integral. So these two formulas are very important. This is called as a Fourier cosine integral of f of x and this is called as a Fourier sine integral of f of x. So Fourier cosine integral is obtained when the function is even, whereas Fourier sine integral is obtained when the function is odd. This one should remember. So let's see a couple of examples based on this concept. So the first example is find Fourier integral representation of the function f of x is equal to. So here, first of all, we will check whether a given function is odd or even. We can see 1 minus x square is nothing but an even function. So rather than taking the Fourier integral directly, we will take the Fourier cosine integral. So what is the Fourier cosine integral formula that we have seen just now? That is f of x is equal to 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity cos lambda x, then integral 0 to infinity f of t cos lambda t dt, then integration with respect to parameter lambda. Now let's first solve the inner integral. So we need to substitute the value of f of t. Now what is the value of f of t here? We know very well, according to definition, this is the value when x takes the value between minus 1 to 1. Okay, but in an integral, the limit is from 0 to infinity. So minus 1 to 1 range will get covered within 0 to 1. So for 0 to 1 only, the f of t will exist, and that will be nothing but 1 minus t square according to the definition of the function f. Whereas all other will take the value 0. So we will have this term only. Now let's apply successive integration by parts here by taking 1 minus t square as u and another function as v. So apply successive integration by parts or Bernoulli formula. We will have such type of simplification. Let's apply the limit 0 to 1. So if I apply the limit 0 to 1, so what we will find when I'll apply upper limit, so this term vanishes, right? So first term vanishes. And for lower limit, we will have the term sine lambda t lambda. When I'll put t as 0, then sine of 0 is also 0. So first term completely vanishes. Let's see what is the uh, situation for the remaining terms. So when I put lower limit, again this will get reduced to 0, whereas for upper limit, this will give us the form minus of cos lambda upon lambda square. So that I have written here. Again, if I'll put the lower limit, that is t as 0, so sine 0 is 0. So for lower limit this will vanish, whereas for upper limit this will take the form plus 2 times sine of lambda upon lambda cube. So this is what I have written here. Now this is nothing but called as a Fourier integral representation of the function. Now so therefore what we have, let's have, so this is equal to f of x. We want to find out what it is, so substitute f of x over here. So what we have this integral is equal to 1 minus x square for mod of x less than 1 and for mod of x greater than 1. So here the point mod of x is equal to 1 is the point of discontinuity, right? So we will find out what is the value of the function at this point of discontinuity. So that is given by f of 1 is equal to f of 1 plus, means left hand right hand side limit, then the functional value at the left hand side limit and its mean, so that is upon 2. Let's find what is value of the function at the right hand side limit, that is 1 plus. So that means it is limit as x tends to the value greater than 1 of f of x. So the value greater than 1 falls in this range according to definition of f of x, right? When mod of x is greater than 1, means x takes the value greater than 1. Okay, so at that time f of x is 0. So we will have 0. Now let's find what is the functional value at right hand side limit. So that is limit as x tends to 1 minus, means 1 minus means the value of x is less than 1. So value of x is, so this is the interval where x takes the value between minus 1 to 1. Okay, minus 1 to 1. So here we will find that x is taking the value less than 1. So that's why f of x will be 1 minus x square. And then we put x as 1 over here. So 1 minus 1 square, that comes out to be 0. So in this way we will substitute these two values here in this interval. So what we will find that 0 plus 0, so that comes out to be 0. So therefore the value of this Fourier integral is nothing but equal to 1 minus x square for mod of x less than 1, whereas it is 0 for mod of x greater than 1 as well as for mod of x is equal to 1, which I have written here as 0 for mod of x greater than equal to 1. So in this way, one can get the Fourier integral of the given function. I hope this problem is clear to you all. Now let's have the another example. Express the function as a Fourier integral, hence evaluate these integrals. So it consists of three parts. Let's see this one by one. First, again you'll have to check whether a function is odd or even. So f of x is given as 1 and 0. Right? 1 is a constant function, 0 is also a constant function. And we know that constant function is always a even function. So therefore function is even, hence we are going to take Fourier cosine integral of f of x, which is given by this formula. Now our next task is to substitute f of t. So we need a definition of f of x. So what is definition of f of x? That is 1 when x is between minus 1 to 1, and otherwise its value is 0. This I have explained in the previous video lecture with the help of a real line system. So you can understand the meaning of mod of x less than 1 very well from there. Right. So it is 1 when x is between minus 1 to 1 and 0 otherwise. So let's substitute f of t. So it's non-zero only from minus 1 to 1. Okay. But the limit over here is 0 to infinity. So we will break this 0 to infinity as 0 to 1 and then 1 to infinity. So from 0 to 1 only f of t is what? 1. Okay. So that's why what we will substitute f of t as 1 from 0 to 1. Otherwise it will take the value 0. So this here I am just making use of definition of f of x. Now simplifying this integral. So integration of cos lambda t is sin lambda t upon lambda. It is integration with respect to t and then applying the limit. I'll apply upper limit, put t as 1, so I'll get sin lambda by lambda, right? And when I'll put lower limit as 0, so sin of 0 is 0. So we will have the simplification as this sin lambda by lambda only. Now let's substitute the value of f of x, which is given as 1 and 0 for mod of x less than 1 and mod of x greater than 1. Again, here we have a point of discontinuity, we can multiply by 2 by pi. So it will become pi by 2 into 1, right? And pi by 2 into 0, that is 0. Now let's find its value at the point of discontinuity. What is that? Mod of x is equal to 1. So at point of discontinuity, it is f of 1 is equal to f of 1 plus f of 1 minus upon 2. Now find out functional value at right hand side limit. So that is limit as x tends to the value greater than 1. For greater than 1, f of x falls in this range, right? That is 0. So we have 0. Whereas for less than 1, its value will be nothing but 1. You can see here, right? So put in equation 2, so f of 1 will be 0 plus 1 by 2. Substitute it over here. So 1 by 2 into what I have done, you can see in the earlier case, I have multiplied this complete expression of f of x by pi by 2. So what we have 1 by 2 for mod of x is equal to 1. Multiply that by pi by 2. So what we will have? So we will have this as pi by 4. So like this we get the value of the integral, Fourier integral, right? Now we have different possibilities. Let's see what are the various possibilities which we have to evaluate. So here I am getting the first answer, that is Fourier integral, right? This sin lambda cos lambda x upon lambda. This we have obtained just now. Now, if I wish to obtain sin lambda by lambda, so I have to make use of this. So how we can get sin lambda by lambda? So I have to make this cos lambda x as 1. Now this is possible only for some values of lambda. Okay, so I'm going to put for some values of lambda or x, right? So I'm going to put the value of x over here, and then similarly in order to get this I have to choose the value of x. So let's see how to get it. So we will have, see here, as I want to make cos lambda x as 1, so I have to put x as 0. Now if I put x as 0, so x is equal to 0 falls in which range? Out of these two equation, so you can see here in equation, now x is equal to 0 falls in this range, minus 1 to 1, right? So what is its value? The value of the function is lambda, pi by 2. So that's why value of integral is nothing but pi by 2. Again, I want cos lambda, whereas here it is cos lambda x. So when this is possible, if I'll take x as 1. So put x is equal to 1 in equation 1. Now x is equal to 1 falls in which range? It falls in this range, mod of x is equal to 1. Right, mod of x is equal to 1 means x takes the value plus minus 1. Okay, so what is the value of the function? It is nothing but pi by 4. So pi by 4. In this way, we have obtained all the integrals. I hope this problem is clear to you all. Let's have one more example. Find the Fourier sine integral of, and hence show that this. So let's see how to get this. So as it is directly asked to find the Fourier sine integral of f of x, so we will write the formula of first Fourier sine integral. Again, we have to put f of t as per the definition. It is given as e raised to power minus beta x for all beta greater than 0. So let's substitute that e raised to power minus beta t. If f of x is e raised to power minus beta x, what will be f of t? Just replace x by t. So you will have e raised to power minus of beta t. Okay, now next task is to simplify this integral. So you can see here, this is of the form e raised to power ax into sine bx, where a is nothing but minus beta and b is nothing but lambda. So just apply the formula of integration and apply the limits. So what we will have, for upper limit it will vanishes, and for lower limit we will have the term as lambda upon lambda square plus beta square. This you can see. Right, now what we will do next, just multiplying by pi by 2 on both the side, so you will get this as equal to, here it should be pi by 2, please note the correction, this must be pi by 2. Okay, so this we have obtained. Now let's have the next one, find Fourier integral. Using Fourier integral, just show this. So as in the integral, we find the cosine term, cos lambda x. So I'm going to take the Fourier cosine integral, right? If it is not given, and neither we can find the nature of the function given over here as a even or odd, then we will have to look for this functional integral. If it is odd, then we will take sine integral. If it is even, then we will take cosine integral. So as if in the integral we find a cosine term, so I am going to take the Fourier cosine integral. Again substitute f of t. What will be f of t? So this right hand side, in the right hand side I am taking this e raised to power minus x as f of x. Okay, so f of t will be, again applying the formula which we know earlier, that is e raised to power ax into cos bx. Apply the formula and simplify. So you will have the required results. So in very easy manner you can get the Fourier integrals of a given function. The only thing that you need to do is you need to identify the nature of the function, right? And depending upon the nature of the function, one can have the Fourier sine integral if it is odd, and if it is even, then we will take the Fourier cosine integral. So I hope this video lecture you will find useful, and you must have understood very well how to solve the problems of Fourier integral. Still, I would like to take few more important example in the next video lecture. Thank you all for watching the video.